Welcome to the Slow Smoked Pigskin podcast. I'm Darren.
And I mean Drew. And this is
our podcast.
What are you doing? You're not Aaron.
You're not Drew.
I think we should go.
That was weird, right?
Yeah, it was.
Anyways, I'm Aaron,
I'm Drew.
and this is our podcast.
That's right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 34 of the Slow Smoke Pigskin podcast. I am Aaron Huberman. Who are you?
I'm Drew.
Okay.
I'm Drew. Hi. You said 34. I think it's 33.
No, I looked at it. There's a typo. Last one was 33. I haven't fixed the title, so I actually corrected myself in what I said instead of what I typed. So,
all right.
We're here to talk.
Hey, welcome everybody.
Yeah, we're here to talk about the week 2 results. So, our weekly winner is one lucky mofo this week, Mr. Shit King himself, Joe Sova. He had 149.86 points with a original projection of 119.36. If he had set his perfect lineup, he would have had the best of the week of 177.76. All that being said, he is excessively lucky because he beat Janelle 147.67 to 149.86, so just over 2 points. And you're like, oh, big deal. He got a 2-point win. Yeah, Janelle had an illegal lineup, had Jordan Addison in a flex position who did not play and got 0 points. Had she put basically anybody else in her lineup, Joe would not have won the week.
Blindfolded
$120 instead of me having to pay $5 for her. So, joy. That being said, Janelle had some players go off. The funniest part is her highest scoring player was actually her defender, IDP, Aiden Hutchinson, with 27.5 fantasy points.
That's why we're going to get rid of them next year.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. And then Malik Neighbors with 23.7, and then George Kittle, who was the top tight end of the week, with 17.1. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad week, but the best tight end hitting 17? Dang, tight end's been rough over the first 2 weeks.
It has.
Joe got his win thanks to Mr. 4-touchdown Alvin Kamara with 43 fantasy points. Wow. Just one guy carried him. J.K. Dobbins, who did
he score those 4 touchdowns against again? I don't remember.
Yeah, I forgot also.
Oh, okay. I think it was the Dallas Cowboys, just in case anybody is listening.
Yeah, fair enough. J.K. Dobbins had 19.6 points. J.K. Dobbins has looked good. I'm really mad at myself for I had some hope, and then I just didn't get him in any of my leagues this year, and I really wish I had.
I've got him in the 2 leagues that we are in together, just so you know.
Well, nicely done. Janelle's busts. Let's not talk about my wife's bust. But we got Jordan Addison, obviously, who got 0 points, and then Jamar Chase of the second bad week at 5.5 points. The funny thing is I saw Matthew Berry's rankings for week 3, and he has Jamar Chase as number 1 ranked for the week. And I'm like, how? What has he done over these first 2 weeks? Maybe they're hoping he's pissed, or Barry's hoping he's pissed off and gonna come back with a vengeance. But yeah,
I haven't been able to see any of the Bengals games, but that offense has not been hitting on all cylinders yet. And when it does, I can see that number happening. But as of right now, there's just not. They're kind of not sure what's going on with the offense. I don't know.
Yeah, and Jamar Chase isn't even getting targets, which is the weird part. So Yeah. And then Joe started Dawson Knox, who gave him 0 points in the process. So, yeah. On the bench, Janelle, I mean, you can't really blame her. She started Patrick Mahomes, but Derek Carr had 22.82 points on her bench. Derek Carr is, I believe, a top 5 fantasy quarterback so far this year.
Even if you're expecting Derek Carr to do what this, like, similar to what he's already done the first 2 weeks, like, how do you start Derek Carr over Patrick Mahomes?
Exactly.
You kind of just you eat it. If he scores more points, it's just kind of you throw your hands up and go, oh, too bad it's not super flex yet.
Yeah, exactly. And then Joe had Calvin Ridley on his bench with 22.7 points. Both of these teams managed to avoid any new injuries. We already mentioned Addison was out with an ankle and Njoku was out, but nothing new came out of that one. Our next matchup, Drew got curb stomped by Josh.
Oh my gosh.
109.32 to 141.79. Drew was led by Rashee Rice with 16 points and Brock Bowers with 14.3. Brock Bowers, kid's looking legit. Like, that's a good pick. And I wasn't sure how they were going to use both of them, but yeah, boy's getting peppered. So, yeah. Josh, on the other hand, was led by Kyler Murray with 28.54, James Cook with 28 on Thursday night. Yeah, it's always rough when you start your week and your opponent's got 28 on Thursday from one guy. It's like, this is
going into Sunday morning. I was 28 points down.
Yeah, exactly. Drew got disappointed by Matt Stafford, who only put up 6.64 points. I thought both of the other quarterbacks on your roster would have done better, but the funny part, I started Stafford in DFS because I thought he was going to have a good week.
We were wrong. Arizona's defense was better than expected.
Yeah. Which is crazy because they have like no pass rushers, and I think they had like 5 sacks or something like that.
It's also when you basically are down 14 points in the first quarter and you have to throw the ball to come back, and the defense knows that. Like, the scheme is different. Like,
and your top 2 receivers are gone at that point.
Gone, right?
Yeah.
You have no one to throw the ball to, and you have to throw the ball. But
you keep throwing it to 150-pound Tutu Atwell,
right?
And then also Brandon Ayuk with a second crappy week in a row. Hopefully,
with Debo out, hopefully.
I was going to say I'm hopping ahead saying Debo is going to be out, but if Ayuk doesn't step up, that's pretty bad.
You got paid for a reason.
Yeah. Josh started Tyler Lockett and Terry McLaurin, who combined for 7.7 points. Like, Lockett looked okay in the first game, but I don't know. Maybe it's JSN time and Lockett's getting pushed out. We'll see. Mm-hmm. And then Terry McLaurin, he's a good wide receiver, but he just never has a quarterback that throws. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a decent fantasy quarterback because he runs, but he ain't getting the ball to McLaurin. So, yeah.
I did hear, Dan Quinn, is that the coach?
Mm-hmm.
I heard him say something this week saying that, like, instead of he needs whatever the amount of runs he needs to cut in half, and he needs to throw the ball more. So
yeah,
it might be hopeful as the year goes on. I know there's a lot of talk and podcasts prior to the season that people were very high on Terry McLaurin because of that, but it might take. It's going to take that bust out week to get him in your starting lineup probably on a consistent basis.
Yeah, McLaurin's pretty easy to bench right now. And Jaden Daniels, I think he knows he can run. So right now, when things break down, he falls back on just running. Right. But that's not a way to have a long career. No. If that happened to another Washington quarterback a couple of years ago.
Right. He just got fired from ESPN.
Yeah, he just got fired too. Drew also another on his, not even just his bench, but his taxi squad. Braylon Allen had 2 touchdowns, which really pissed me off as the Breece Hall manager. But Breece still managed to have a decent day. But 18.6 points from Braylon, that's interesting.
Yeah. I can't imagine that like he's not going to take Breece Hall's job by any means, but like
No.
is
But it shows
it's
that
his 2 touchdowns that like he can catch the ball, he can run the ball, like
it just shows if something happens to Brees,
yeah,
that's a serious handcuff right there.
right.
Josh didn't really leave much on the bench. I think his perfect lineup would have only been about a point more than he got.
Yeah.
T. Higgins was out for Josh, and then Marshawn Lloyd, the rookie running back who had so much hype, is going on IR. So it's gonna be Josh Jacobs and Josh Jacobs all day. Next matchup was two of our undefeated teams, Adrian versus Steve. Adrian, after winning week 1 with 170 plus points, put up 115.81.
Welcome to fantasy football.
To Steve's 141.1. Adrian's pretty much only good day from any of his players was Nico Collins with 23.5. Nico is a beast. Like, Houston paid him, and they're treating him like one.
Yeah.
Steve got his useful players. DK Metcalf had 23.9, and then Trey McBride had 15.7. Now, I managed to get away with a win in a different league, but Trey McBride only had 15.7 points because he got a fumble return touchdown that James Conner fumbled in the end zone, and then McBride got an extra 6 points because he picked up the ball.
He happened to follow the play. It fell at his feet. He's like, "Oh, cool, touchdown."
Yeah, I almost lost my other matchup because that I was about to break something. Adrian, like, he's got all these wide receivers on his team. Like you said, Nico, and then he started 3 other wide receivers with big names: Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, and Mike Evans, who shockingly somehow all managed to score the same exact amount of points. They each had 5.7. So that's a big turnaround from week 1. All 3 of those guys had big week 1s, and that's why Adrian's score went down 60 points.
Obviously, Kupp, we'll talk about that in a second, but he's going to be not scoring any points. But Evans, I feel like that's going to be his season. It's just going to be if you can start him at the right
if he
time and he gets your points, but the next game, like it's not going to be a consistent, like he was last year. I just don't see it.
No. And then Steve got let down by 2 receivers on his side. Garrett Wilson with 8.2, Cortland Sutton with only 3.1. I don't know why you would start Huh? What did you say?
Cortland Sutton, garbage.
What? Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That was a trade that we had earlier. I traded him, Cortland Sutton.
Oh, I didn't remember that. But you can't trust anybody on the Broncos right now. Like, their offense does not look good.
Stagnant at best.
I wrote that down wrong. Adrian had JSN on his bench who broke out a bit, 17.7 points. Steve was another one of the there we go. Steve scored he got 90. He scored 141.1 and his max was 142.6. So he was another one who did not leave much on the bench.
No, he was the winner of the
most efficient
lineup. And I had to go and look at the rest of his lineup, and that's his only lineup.
Yeah. Well,
like it just happened to be that this week it performed.
There you go. So yes, you mentioned injuries. So Adrian's losing Cooper Kupp with an ankle. They said he's probably going to miss multiple weeks, but the last report I heard said he's not going on IR, so it'll be hopefully less than 4. But yeah, it's not good. And he's had injuries over the past couple of years, and they tend to linger. There was high hopes with Puka going out, but now Cooper's down too. So the Rams offense is going to be a bit of a mystery.
It's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, and then Steve had 2 big other injuries. AJ Brown, who ended up with a hamstring injury on Thursday or Friday, ended up missing the game, and then now is saying he may miss multiple games, which is a real bummer. He he's such a beast when he plays. And then another disappointing one for Steve, Isaiah Pacheco, broken fibula, which he's on IR. The original report I heard was 6 to 8 weeks, but then there was a report today that he's having surgery, and Andy Reid saying he's not even sure if he's back this season. So
I saw that report about he had surgery. It's literally only bone. There's no ligament, there's no tendon, there's no other injury other than he broke the bone. And does he have pins? Is it like I don't know, but I mean
it's a real bummer.
It's a bummer for him and as a person, but like if you have him, like he was a workhorse. He was gonna and the way that they were running the ball this year, like you thought for sure that he was gonna be a huge performer.
This may be major shift in the Chiefs offense. Like you said, the last 2 weeks, they were like pound the ball. Patrick Mahomes threw under 30 times both weeks. I think like 25 and 28. So to lose the guy who they've been just feeding, they've got some other options, which we can talk about in waivers.
Yeah.
But they none of them are going to be Pacheco. So and then
look for Pat to run the ball more, and then look for him to throw the ball more.
Yeah. And then Steve also Devon, I believe it's pronounced Vele, which
you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, well, he had like 8 catches for 50 yards for the Broncos in week 1, and he was either a late round pick or a UDFA, and surprised everybody in week 1, but then he ended up being out this week. So that was another hit for Steve. All right, next matchup was the Battle of the Jasons. We got Freeman versus Smith. I'm not going to bother saying a first name because it's just going to confuse everything. So,
correct.
Freeman eked out the victory 132.47 to Smith's 126.16. Freeman was led by Jalen Hurts with 24.82 points, even though he would have had a couple more if he hadn't thrown that interception on the last play. Side note, we've got the kids league going. I hadn't told you this, Drew. Lucas was playing Skylar. Lucas had taken the lead because he had Jalen Hurts. He threw the pick, and Skylar beat Lucas by 0.4 points because of that interception at the last play.
I had looked at that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I told Steve, I was like, hey, did you see this? He's like, no. And I told him, he's like, oh, Lucas is gonna be pissed. So yeah. Anyways, and then Freeman also, Chris Godwin's looking like he might be back this year, 22.2 points. Jason Smith, I said I wasn't going to say Jason, but oh well. Smith, his 2 top scorers on his team were his defense, Buffalo with 26.18, and Kaimi Fairbairn, his kicker, with 20. Now, it's normally a great day when you get 46 points from your kicker and defense, but yeah, it's pretty bad. The rest of your team did pretty bad if you're still losing in that situation.
Right? Like those are just bonus points. Like you hope that everybody else on your lineup is hitting it, and then that gets you like the winning the pot for the week. But no.
Yeah. They both had some disappointments. Freeman had Christian Kirk only give him 0.4 points, and then Sam Laporta 2.3. Once again,
Laporta's been garbage.
Yeah, not good. And then Jason Smith, he had Keenan Allen unfortunately in his lineup, but I'm not counting that as illegal because it wasn't sure until last minute whether he was going to play or not. So he got 0 points from Keenan Allen. Amari Cooper gave him 2.6. And Colby Parkinson, who we thought with what was going on with the Rams offense, maybe he'd get something. Nope, 1.7 points.
Yeah.
Jason Freeman, if he had started Hunter Henry instead of Sam Laporta, because any rational human would do that.
Right.
Hunter Henry had 14.9. And then if Smith had just put somebody other than Keenan Allen in his lineup and put Darnell Mooney ended up with 16.3 points. Bunch of injuries in their lineups. Keenan Allen, we already mentioned, missed the game with a heel. Deebo Samuel played the whole game, I believe, but then afterward, he's got a calf injury and is now expected to miss multiple weeks. And then it was on Jason Smith's team, but now that has changed. Oh, that's mean. Anybody who just saw the video, there was Drew just mean. Anyways, Tua got another concussion, putting his head where he shouldn't be putting it.
Slide.
He's on IR. Or actually, it's funny because they were Rex Ryan on one of the shows Sunday morning was talking about, like, you don't even have to slide. Like, I understand trying to get yards. You can still get hurt sliding because it, somebody hits you in the head and whatnot. Go dive at their ankles. Is what Rex Ryan was saying that they teach them is you go dive at their ankles. You're not hitting anything hard. They're getting out of the way or something like that. You you put your head into somebody's chest. Like, that's how you get these big hits.
Now, do you think that because it was DeMar Hamlin that he thought maybe it would be a softer blow?
He thought that maybe he would stop his heart?
Oh, okay. Oh, my. Wait a second. You're mad at my little because this is what he looked like. But, I mean, the irony on that, which I believe what's his face who was commentating the game got in trouble for that. But anyways, yeah. Whatever you have to do, like as a quarterback, like you protect your arms and your head. Like that's what makes you your money.
Yeah.
Like
I
hope he's able to play football because I know that's what he loves. I don't think from a financial standpoint, he should quit. He gets $100 million no matter what, even if he retires.
Yeah. The one thing I forgot who I was listening to, but somebody, I think it was Teddy Bruschi, because Teddy Bruschi had like a stroke when he played. He was talking about that the problem is when you have the football player mentality, you don't want to go out like that. Sure. And so, it sounds like Tua is going to want to come back probably. It'll be a bit, give him some time, but somebody needs to train him because maybe he comes back from this one. If there's one more, like,
have you seen all the injuries that he's had in his football career as far as from college? He's dislocated a hip. He's busted his knee. This is his fourth concussion. Like I understand. This is his fourth, I thought.
Oh, he
had three last 2 years ago.
No, he had two that year. Yeah, he had one in college, two that year, and then this one.
I don't know. I mean, like, I can't make that decision for these players, obviously, and it's like, but I mean, I see him coming back, and at the very least, he could be a backup.
Yeah, we'll see what
if they can get somebody else.
Yeah. All right, next matchup: Neil versus Eddie. Hey, Eddie scored over 100 points.
I feel like you should have taken that bet. He's going to score more points than he thinks.
Yeah, 102.58, and Neil with 120.1. Neil led by Devon Achane also on Thursday night with 26 points, and Rashid Shaheed, who just keeps catching long touchdowns, with 18.9. Eddie got led by Marvin Harrison's big day, 27 points, and Zach Charbonnet filling in for the injured Kenneth Walker with 15.4. Neil had he won this one despite a whole bunch of busts in his lineup. Rashad White only had 2.8. He had left part of the game with an injury, but it's not expected to continue. Tank Dell has not shown up so far this year, 1.8 points. And then Keon Coleman got goose egged. Like, he looked decent and involved in week one, and then goose egg. And then Eddie back to being let down by Kyle Pitts with 3.5 points. Like, don't get me wrong. Eddie and I did a trade that involved Kelsey and Pitts, and I got the old man who now sucks this year, but I'd still take it over having the Kyle Pitts drama. Like it's
just the Kyle Pitt. Like, hey, he's gonna be great. No, he's not. He's gonna be great this year too. No, he's not. Like until he proves it, like I don't know.
Yeah. On Neil's bench was Quentin Johnston, who has been good this year. 19.6 points. He looked so bad last year that nobody had any faith in him. So we'll see what happens with him. Eddie had Josh Reynolds on his bench with 11 and the Lions D with 12.8. I mean, Eddie could have been close there. There was a whole lot of ugly. Injuries. Evan Ingram was expected to play, hurt his hamstring in warmups, and now don't know exactly how long he's going to be out, but he missed the game. Taysom Hill had a chest injury. I haven't heard any detail other than it was a chest injury, and they took him to the hospital to be checked out, but he checked out fine and now will likely play this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a lower leg injury, but he's expected to play. And then I mentioned Rashad White. His was a groin injury, but it does not sound like he's expected to miss any time.
Yeah, Amon-Ra was at practice today. Apparently, it was just a bruise and cramping, is what they're calling it. Which you know how they hide injuries. Like who knows? Like I think he got hit on the play, and he was just kind of milking it, or not milking it, but like working through it for the rest of the game.
I mean, he's Amon-Ra is a tough kid, so
he is.
Yeah.
If you've watched the Netflix Receiver show, like you'll know that he's all about the team. He's not necessarily a selfish player, and he's not going to go out. Like they're going to have to pull him out of the game before that happens.
Yeah. And he needs to drink a Coke at halftime if he needs energy, according to his father. Multiple time Mr. Universe. Anyways, last matchup. The last matchup of two undefeateds. Me versus Raph. And neither of us beat the league median.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. I mean, I won the matchup 125.47 to Raph's 97.86. So Raph had the worst week in the league. I got 21.3 points from Justin Jefferson thanks to his 97-yard touchdown. And then Breece Hall still got me 20.9 points. Imagine how many that could have been if I got those two Braylon Allen touchdowns. Anyways.
But you didn't.
Yeah, but I didn't. Raph had Drake London get him 14.4 points because of the last second touchdown. And then Max Crosby, 20.5 points. I'm still so mad that Raph snagged him when I dropped him for a week a couple years ago. I didn't think anybody was going to pick him up, and now Raph's had him since, and he's a beast.
He is. He's a fantastic. I don't know what else to say about him.
Yeah. I got let down by a current Chief and a former Chief in Travis Kelce with 1.1 and Tyreek Hill with 5.1 points. By the way, dude, another league I'm in, a guy offered me a trade. I had Tyreek Hill, and he offered me Tyler Lockett and Terry McLaurin for Tyreek Hill. I'm like, bro, he had one bad week. You are insane if you think that's anywhere close.
He's just trying to buy low.
I was like, whoa, buddy. Yeah, I understand trying to buy low, but that's low. Anyways, and then Raph had Ladd McConkey give him 3.6 and DeAndre Hopkins 1.4. I think DeAndre Hopkins just still isn't fully right from his, preseason injury. But then again, Will Levis also sucks. So, on my bench, I left Fred Warner with 19.63. I still don't know how a defender gets 19.63. I didn't go test it, but I mean, I think JJ Watt or TJ Watt still had like 13 for me, so whatever. And Raph had the Houston's defense on the bench who scored 19.45, but that still wouldn't been enough. Injuries. Joe Mixon hurt his ankle on a hip drop tackle, which was not called a penalty. It's funny because there's been a couple of players who've been injured this year already on what they say should have been a hip drop tackle, which should have been a penalty, but they haven't been called yet. Mixon is questionable. He might.
Does it make your ankle feel better if the penalty is called? Like I don't know.
But like the point is you got to stop. If you make a rule, enforce it. I mean, they have called so many like O-line procedural penalties over the first 2 weeks.
That's what they've been focusing on.
Like,
not the
it's
hip
like,
drop.
oh my God. Yeah, exactly. And then Justin Jefferson had a quad injury, but is expected to be fine and play. So that's all of our matchups. So with all that said, what does that mean? It means we've got 2 remaining undefeated teams in Joe and Steve. We've got 3 teams tied at 3-1, which is me because I didn't hit the median this week. Jason Freeman and Josh Smith. Adrian and Raph both went from 2-0 to 2-2. Janelle is Janelle, Jason Smith, and Neil are all 1-3. Janelle could have been 3-1. She doesn't want me to talk about it because she's or actually, no, I'm sorry, she would have been 2-2. And then Drew and Eddie just running away with 0-4. See how this goes.
I'm pretty confident I'm not going to get last place. That's all I have to say.
We'll see what happens. I don't be so confident. All right. So waivers ran this morning, and with all the things that happened, there were some interesting players out there. Mostly, what are we going to do to replace Pacheco? Well, somebody had already picked up Samaje Perine before that, so that left.
You gave me shit for that too.
Did you pick him up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I overbid for him.
Well, you still overpaid for him, but whatever.
Because I overpaid.
So then that meant that Carson Steele was still out there, rookie, who's kind of like a hybrid running back, fullback.
Yeah.
Sure exactly what he is. But then the Chiefs also signed Kareem Hunt yesterday, which is actually kind of shocking to me that they brought him back after the drama that caused him to leave, that he was ever returning to this team. That being said, Drew won Carson Steele with a bid of 18. There was 8 total bids. I was the second place bid with 17. When I first put in the waiver claim before I knew about Kareem Hunt, I put in the waiver claim for $36. And then once Kareem Hunt was there, I was like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll lower my bid to about half. That's 18. I'm going to go one less. I'll go to 17. And then this dick right there is 18. So he won Carson Steele. That being said, I did win the bid for Kareem Hunt with a bid of $16. Now, I apparently overbid on that one because the next closest bid was $8. Steve got the Minnesota defense for $6. The only other bid on that one was a $0 bid. And then Eddie likes to put in lots of $0 bids. So he got Tutu Atwell and Andy Dalton both. Oh my God, we haven't even talked about how bad Bryce Young is. I forgot to put that in NFL news. That's a piece of news we could have talked about. Bryce Young's been benched. Andy Dalton is now the starter. Had you not heard this yet?
No, I hadn't heard.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was fake. I had seen one thing.
No, it's real. It came from Schefter. Bryce Young is now being benched for Andy Dalton. Like, eek. He's
terrible.
He is, but normally, like, a number 1 pick gets more than this to try and prove himself. But yeah,
you can prove yourself on the bench, just like Jordan Love did, just like Mahomes did. You can come back next year and you can be the starter, and you can learn how to make proper decisions.
Like, I was listening to somebody talk about it, and in week 1, he had like a lot of issues. He had a lot of pressure, and that could have been blamed for his bad day. This week, he didn't have pressure, and he just kept missing.
No.
So, yeah. Anyways, all right. What else we got? Oh, we had a trade in the league that
we did.
We had a big old trade in the league. So just to give you some background, I had been messing around with Jason Smith. He has CMC. I was like, I had Jordan Mason. I was like, well, you want to get Jordan Mason? He was like offering me, like a wide receiver 3 or 4 or something. I was like, I have no need for this. Like, honestly, I told him, I was like, I don't want to talk. I'm not really interested in anybody on your team unless I'm talking about Josh Allen. It's where I was. And I did not think that he was going to budge on Josh Allen. So then he sent me an offer. He sent me Josh Allen, Tua before the concussion,
Right.
Tyjae Spears, and a 2025 third. And I sent him back Dak, which hurts my heart a little bit. David Montgomery, Justin Fields, and Jordan Mason. So, you got comments? What, I got nothing from you?
I don't understand it.
I
think you got Josh Allen for four people is basically what you got. Tajay Spears is like, yeah, he's got potential.
maybe.
You're thinking for Superflex and Tua, and it's just like he wasn't gonna last that long. Like he's not gonna
He just signed a 4-year contract.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean he's gonna be good for 4 years.
Okay, fine.
They signed contracts, yes. Is anybody good until their contract is expired?
Okay, fine.
Minus Tom Brady.
He's still, how old is Tua? 26, 27?
He's not that good of a quarterback.
He's good enough.
Okay.
I gave up Dak and Justin Fields. So, like, this is the way I was kind of looking at it. Like,
the 25 third is, like, intriguing. It's not worth very much, but, like, it's intriguing. But, like, Justin Fields is going to be, I don't know, Justin Fields for Tua, like, that's a straight up, yeah.
In all honesty, I almost asked him if he really wanted to offer me this deal, but I was like, wait a second, he sent me this offer. I'm clicking accept. Because Jordan Mason is short-lived.
Short-lived.
Yeah, like it's only.
Who knows? Who knows what's really wrong with CMC?
Yeah, maybe.
To be honest, like nothing led us to believe he was going to be out the first week, and all of a sudden he's out the first week, and then it's like, oh, now he's to the IR, and it's like that was the thought process. Like, oh, maybe he'll play. No, we're just going to give him out for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, maybe. Well, either way, the Achilles are going.
The way with it's. I'm not mad at the trade.
No, I was expecting somebody to get angry that it was uneven.
I mean, I don't know. No, it is.
Allen and Tua versus Dak and Fields is a slight upgrade for me.
Yeah.
Tajay versus
Montgomery. On what Montgomery does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had.
It's an upgrade. You got the short end of the stick. Yes.
Yeah. And then Jordan Mason for a third. So, like,
but then again, like even though CMC comes back, like I feel like they have something in Jordan Mason to where CMC is not going to get the workload that he had before. They don't need to anymore.
Well, we'll see. Like,
so I don't know.
I guess now that I look at it, maybe it's a closer deal than I thought.
I
thought originally when I saw it, I thought
I'm more butthurt because I sent trades out to certain people and I thought they were just as fair, and they didn't think it was fair. So I'm more butthurt at that, but I'm okay with what I have right now.
All right. Well, all right. So that's about it we got going on for this week. So it's only week 3. No more teams on bye, but
it's week 3, but it really feels like week 12 already.
I know, like so many injuries and so much stress already. Like
so much already.
But God, I love fantasy football.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, but
I already don't want to play the rest of the year. I'm ready for next year, but like it's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, good times, bud. See you next week.
See you next week.
Cheers.
Okay. Champ. Yeah. Congratulations.
Later,
I can't wait till you can't use that anymore.
No, it says 2023 champ, so I can always use it forever.
No.
Yeah. All right, bud. Later.
All right. See ya.